So we're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to Why Not's New Immigrant School System Navigation Support Program, where we're here joined with Ms. Bola, who is a registered psychotherapist, and today she's going to be talking about cultural awareness and sensitivity. And without further ado, I will go and hand it over to Ms. Bola.
Hi everyone, thank you so much. Hello everyone. So we will get started. I'm just going to share my screen, and just to let us know ahead of time, it's going to be very interactive. So it's not just going to be only me talking. And it's cultural awareness and sensitivity. So we're going to kind of look at how we're navigating the cultural differences in Canada as immigrants if you're new and also in the school system. So the first thing is welcome. Let's get to know one another. So if you would please just kindly just introduce yourself a little bit, if you don't mind. If you can put your cameras on so we can see your faces too, that would be nice. That helps us to connect very well. So who is going to go first? Let's get to know you. Who is here?
Hi, good to see you. My name is Eniola Akintola.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Who is next? We have Bob. We have who else? Who else wants to go? Let's get to know you. We have just 1 hour. Let's get to know you. Any other person?
My name is
Other
Adi
person?
Nicola.
Who? Who spoke now?
Ade.
Okay, oh, I did. Thank you. Who is next? There is Joy. There is I see Pastor there. Okay, there's Kachi. There's Bob. There's Nella. If I pronounce the name wrongly, please forgive me.
That's
There's
Comfort. You could just say Comfort.
Okay, Comfort. Thank you. And who else is there? There's Prosper. There's Kachi. So let's get to know you very briefly. If you don't like talking, okay, we'll go right on. Okay, we're going to start with this first slide. There are so many experiences new immigrants in the school systems and families face, right? And as much as I have this PowerPoint, it's not compulsory that we run through it, everything. It's going to be really interactive, like I said. So there are cultural barriers that we see. There's a lot of discrimination. We have historical trauma. There's the issue of forming relationships. There's a lot of marginalization. There are a lot of mental health issues that people face, new immigrants face. There's breakdown in families. There's cultural acceptance. So we're kind of looking at the agenda. So we have resources that we're going to share, and we'll have also a slide that we can say, let's thrive in Canada. And I will take the very first slide. It says, many newcomer families are getting to the Canada experience what is called a culture shock. All right. And so new immigrants cannot avoid this as they find ways to cope with different culture. They find themselves as they settle in. Culture shock is a normal feeling, and it's a cultural adjustment as a result of being in an unfamiliar terrain. So let's see who experienced the culture shock. I did. So I don't know if I'm the only one. I've been here this is my 18th year. So who else had a culture shock when they got to Canada? Anybody? Please, let's make it interactive. It's going to be interesting if it's interactive. I don't want to be the only one talking. Anybody? Anybody? Anyone? Okay. Anyone? So nobody had a culture shock when they got to Canada. Okay, maybe I'm the only one then who had a culture shock. Okay.
Maybe just the weather for me.
The weather, okay, thank you.
Yeah, it was at the point it was just too cold. I was like, oh my God, how long is this thing going to be?
Okay, good. Thank you. So I'm not the only one who had a culture shock when it comes to weather. Any other person? Any other person? Even navigating, your children. I know Eniola, you have children, right? So how did you navigate, start to navigate the school system with your children? Right. So those are things that are the children coping, settling in and everything. So we see there's a lot of things that goes on in terms of cultural sensitivity when we come to Canada. So thank you. And so cultural barriers. Who has ever heard you have an accent?
Oh. Well, what I say when I experience that is, well, everybody has an accent. That even you have an accent.
So there's always
So that's what I just tell them, as like, oh, you have an accent. Where are you from? Well, yes, I do. I have an accent. So do you. You have an accent as well. So we only have different accents.
Beautiful. And so there's always a language barrier. And I know that apart from the parents facing that language barrier, children also face those language barriers when they're in schools. I remember I was talking to somebody recently and she said, oh, you seem not to have this accent that people have. I said, oh, I don't understand. I said, how long have you been in Canada? I said, 17 years. Oh, that explains it. I said, no, that doesn't explain it. I don't have an accent. I speak English. And can you imagine if that statement was made to somebody who just got in here? For a white person to say, oh, you don't have an accent. Oh, I have another family that came 20 years ago. Oh, they still have an accent. And those are the barriers that we face. Our children face them in school. Parents face them at work. Not only at work, even in communities that they're interacting when they land, right? And all Canada's culture mosaic is shaped by the diverse of traditions, diverse customs, and values. Okay, so immigrants from different countries come. That's where the culture shock comes in traditions, it comes in customs, it comes in values. Then, just like Eniola said, Canada experiences extreme weather conditions. And so I've seen someone say that I feel like going. In fact, some people have not still gotten used to winter till today. No matter how many years you've spent here, you've still not gotten used to winter, right? All right, let's go. Discrimination and racism. Anyone experience this? Anyone? Anyone? As new immigrants? Anyone? See, please, let's make it interactive so that it's not just only me talking. Anyone? Anyone? I just want to see that those are the experiences some of us are having, if not all of us, so that I think I'm in the right conversation here. So any one of us on landing, on getting here, any one of us. So migrants is a mostly non-transferable training or qualification experience discrimination. We hear a lot of people come with their certificates, right? And they still have to go back to school. So it's like there's the training you have back home, whatever represents back home for you is not transferable for most people here. Okay, we talked about language barrier. We talked about some people don't have work permits. Some people they're limited in speaking the host language. So the host here is Canada. And of course, it is different understanding of social, economic, and health resources. All structures are faced with barriers in settlement and integration in the host community. So the barriers, we have a lot of immigrants come. Let's say immigrants, whoever comes in, they come in with limited income. right? So in terms of even paying rent and everything, people have a lot of limited income, so they have to go via not-for-profit organizations. We're going to take a look at some of them here for help. And of course, in integrating into the society, into the community, it's harder because you're coming from a different background. You're coming from a different community, coming out kind of do kind of not complete assimilation, but at least integration into the new system. And of course, a lot of people, I've seen people who some people will say, oh, kids are bullied in school. We hear that a lot because they just landed, they really don't know how to navigate the school system. Some parents will say they actually bullied at work. Some parents will tell you that they experienced racism. All right. And so a lot of things that immigrants go through, and let's see how this applies to us as we go on. And there's historical trauma too. And it's a bit of you are not in your familiar terrain. So we have seen children, have negative coping mechanisms. All right. Like even from high school. Like with my work as a psychotherapist, I've seen children from my own background that came here and are not coping well at all. And so the coping mechanisms, at least 80% of them use substance to cope. And so we see this a lot. So that is historical trauma because some children are even here without their parents, without their families. Most of them are navigating either college, university, or even high school. And so they are not coping well at all. So they are detached from cultures, they're detached from their friends, they're detached from their families, they're detached from the familiar terrain, they're detached from the education system that they know, right? So then, and this causes a lot of historical trauma for a lot of children, and not just children, also their families, all right? And so forming new relationships also. So in another thing that happens when we come in here, we start to look for new relationships as families, as youth, in schools and in communities, right? Can I have an experience of anyone, who found it hard to form relationships landing? Any new immigrant here trying to still form relationships? If you're new or you're old, please, how difficult was it for you or for your children to form new relationships? Can we talk, please? Let's make it interactive. Anyone? Anyone? Anyone?
Okay.
Okay,
Oh.
so we go on. So another thing that happens is the marginalization, all right? And what it means is that a lot of immigrants are cut off from so many things that they are used to. Lack of employment is number one. And what happens is because when you come in with your credentials, a lot of people will go less than, an accountant from Nigeria or any other country that is represented here would not come here and start working as an accountant right away. Okay, so some people would have lower jobs while they're navigating the new system. Okay, and some don't even have jobs at all. Some struggle with jobs for a long time. And so we see that, that's why we have not-for-profits that do like job skills. They do like fresh training that the government sponsors. And they're not really, I know that with Ontario Works, immigrants have access to about $1,000. So if you don't know that, so you have access to some form of funds for training, right? And Also, we have seen many immigrants come in also when there's no employment, their standard of living drops, and that can lead to poverty. And so when there's poverty also, it can also lead to homelessness. We see recently in the news, a lot of Black communities actually are homeless. They just came in, they're immigrants, they're fresh, they're homeless because one, rent went up, they don't have jobs, and they don't even have money. Government is not supporting them also. And that's why we have these are ongoing issues. All right. And the big one is the mental health issues here also that many immigrants experience, and there's a lot of stress because one, they are not settled, the children are just learning to cope in school, they're just navigating the school system. Families, we have disconnection in families, everything causes stress is leading to anxiety leading to depression. And when people are depressed and they don't know how to manage things, some, like what we talked about, they go into depression. Affects family dynamics. Some people cope with substance use. Okay. And I've had a child that, that said, I think he was actually in university. He said, there's no way to cope. There's no one to talk to. I'm the only one here. My parents are not here. My siblings are not here, and I miss home. And I don't know what other coping mechanism other than substance. All right. And so this particular child actually dropped out of school, and the parents had to reach out to say they're looking for a psychotherapist to talk to their child. And what happened was they were scared that was going to lose his student status, right? And so we see these things, this going on and on and on and on with immigrant families. All right. And anybody experience stress when you migrated? Anybody experience anxiety? Anyone? I think we are, I'm going to see, how many are we? We're 14. Please, let's talk. So I don't seem like I'm saying what doesn't exist. Did anybody experience stress on getting here? Did you experience anxiety on getting here? Did your family dynamics change when you got here? Anybody? Anyone? Okay. We will go on. But if you have anything to say, please just raise your hands. All right. So a lot of immigrant families complain about breakdown in family systems due to the differences in culture and also parenting styles, right? So we see that, how we parent in our home countries are very different from how we parent here. And so we see parents having issues with their children in school. We see children, let me give an example of an immigrant family who reached out to, they call this table, the name skipped my mind, but they're usually connected with the cops, right? And so they found out that children would just leave the homes, so just walk out of the homes and they bring them in, and these are immigrant families. And so when I had to do counseling, and this woman said, my daughter, she's in high school, she said, I just want to be like the whites. I want to be a tenant in your house. I don't want you to tell me when to come in. Don't tell me when to go out. I just want to party. This is a 16-year-old. I just want to go to party, and I don't want you to call me to look for me. I just want to live my life like the white people. And it's so funny. And this mother broke down in tears and asked and said, did I make a mistake bringing my children here? And I know that there are a lot of immigrant families. I've had to listen to stories. Oh, did we make a mistake bringing our children here? But I think what is going on is we need to understand the parental styles here. And that's the issue with the culture. We need to understand what the culture is. We need to understand how the culture works. And we need to understand how to navigate the change. Otherwise, a lot of immigrant parents are having issues in parenting styles, right? Because then there's a breakdown in families, because how we parent from our individual home towns or home countries is very much different from how we parent here. Okay. So how do we really navigate the school system? Be aware of the challenges that young newcomers face in the school setting. And you should ask your children, ask whether they're experiencing any problems. Okay. And what usually happens is when immigrants land, we're given a lot of resources like brochures to see, where you can go, how you can get help and everything. And so there's this website that's called kidsnewtocanada.ca. Okay. And they help young newcomers and their families navigate and adjust to the school system. Okay. And so they tell you what grades are available for your child. They help you, they connect you to resources in the community. Some of them actually connect you to mentors. And of course, Why Not is one resource that you can go to as an immigrant. And they have a lot of things, in place for new immigrants and their children. Okay. So how can we thrive even as immigrants? What can we do to thrive even as immigrants in Canada? They would say, okay, I found this out. It may be something that we can improve on. They'll say improve your English language skills. And so what happens is a lot of let's say I'm from Nigeria, for example. Nigeria, our first language is English. Okay, so it may not really be, but there's some other countries that their first language isn't English. So they have to go through ESL. Okay, and so let's make that improvement. Anyhow, if you're coming to a country and you do know that, what, I need help in this area, it might be good to say, okay, I need to improve my English skills. I need to connect to an ESL. So the information is way down there. The second one is explore what Canada has to offer. Okay, if we're standing on that terrain that, there's nothing to learn here, there's nothing I need to explore here, then we're not really willing to take on the challenge to live a good life here, right? Register for new, let me see what is here. Register for newcomer services. So we're going to see a couple of resources down here and we're going to navigate them together. There are organizations that do newcomer services. And what they do, they not only connect you to resources that are near you, they also try to give you trainings that are free. Like I said, they have free trainings. There are many who have job skills development. Some have resume writing, actually. Some will help with the resume. There are actually some that help with employment placement. So Ontario Works, like I said, they have connection with these other organizations where they connect you, they train you. Let's say you want to do PSW, some even actually want to do truck driving, some want to work in. They're not the jobs that you want, but at least for a startup, they do help because they have connection with these organizations that allows immigrants to work in. So that way you're not struggling with, you don't have experience. They are already working. Things are much better now compared to how it was before. In the past years, many resources were not available for immigrants, but currently we have so many organizations that have many resources that are available for immigrants as they're coming in. All right. I would say keep an optimistic outlook. I've had people who would say, I wish I didn't come here. I wish I'd gone back to my country. I wish, but if you're here, you will hear. So keep an optimistic outlook and encourage your children. So, there's YMCA around where they have subscriptions and they're even cheap. You can navigate registering them for events, registering children for other things that you pay zero or nothing for. Okay. And another thing is be involved in school programs and local community. Be involved in school programs and local community. A lot of us as immigrants, we're not so used to kind of getting involved with our children's schools. Okay, we kind of basically leave everything for teachers. That's how we are. So I don't know if it's the same thing with Nigeria. I don't know if we're all Nigerians there, but with Nigeria, a lot of parents, maybe things are now changing. But here, be a part of what's happening in the school system. That is how you can make a change. That's how you can air your own voice. Be a part of the school system. What schools your children are going to, be a part of it. Go to the meetings, connect with the teachers, connect with the principals. Let them know your presence. Don't just leave everything to the teachers. Connect with local communities around you also, and connect to a mentor. There is, I don't know if it's in North York there, they're called Big Brothers, Big Sisters also. Like I said, Why Not is a first resource for all of us here, and there are other resources. So there's what is called Big Brothers, Big Sisters. So what they do actually is they connect every child to a mentor. So if you're an immigrant, they connect you to a mentor, whether immigrants or not, but what they do is that they look for somebody who fits into you, your own view as a family or as an individual, and they connect you to mentors. All right? So there are culturally acceptable resources, and there are many places that we can find help. So like I said, this is the third time. Why Not is our first point of call as we are here. They run a lot of programs for youth. They run a lot of programs for immigrants. So that's a point of call. And so I want us to kind of take a look at this resource here. Let's see, just want to navigate this together. So just taking a look at it, and they are in different regions. So we could take a look at it, and the PowerPoint can be shared. Then different regions, you can look for Ontario where you are and look at what they have. All right. Let's go down a little bit. This is Winnipeg. I'm trying to see where Ontario is. Okay. So there is settlement.org, which is also there. There is newuse.ca. These are all things that are available to us here in Ontario. If you live around Durham region, there's Community Development Council. There are welcome centers all around. A welcome center, you actually find Coasty. And so what Coasty does, they use a lot of interpreters. They use many for different countries. So if you have issue with the language, they will use an interpreter for you. All right? That's one. I'm going to stop the sharing. Sorry, 1 second here. Let's take a look at Coasty. So they have a program here for newcomers. If you take a look at it, and let's see if we can navigate it. Look. Oops. It's not clicking. Stop sharing again. It's not working. Okay, so like I said, Coasty, they offer a lot of programs for immigrants. And there is, of course, the school system. That's this one, the settlement. There's another one called secondary education. I want us to briefly talk about some of the resources that are here also. Oh, sorry. Okay. One second, I'm trying to navigate something here. Okay. So when we talk about cultural awareness and sensitivity, can we kind of do an analogy of in what area as an immigrant are you struggling with the culture? And in what area, if you would say, this is this area that I need help with, is there any area? Is there any area? This is meant to be an interactive session, so I've been reading and reading, and I don't want to do that. Is there any area? Is there any area? Anyone? Do you feel safe? Do you feel empowered, in the environment that you are, in the communities that you are? Do you feel like you're valued? Has any one of us been to any of the welcome centers? Has anybody been to the welcome centers as an immigrant? All right, do we have any questions? Are there any questions? Are there any questions on everything that we have spoken about this evening?
Yeah. Hello, my name is Joy. I will want you to. Hello, ma'am.
Yes, I'm here.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Please, I will want you to throw more light on the issue of striving in Canada. I want you to recap a little bit of what you said there. I didn't quite get it.
Okay. Let's go back to that slide.
Thank you.
So can you tell me which one? Improve English language skills, explore what Canada has to offer, register for newcomers services.
Yeah, I on the area of register for newcomers into Canada.
Mm-hmm. So there are a lot of newcomers services available to us in Canada, right? And I want to believe that Why Not offers some. And there are a lot of also organizations that offer. There is settlement.org here. There is Coasty. There is also this organization they're called Catholic Family Services. They basically offer settlement. They set settlement for homes, settlement in schools. They offer settlement even in libraries, right? So there are a lot of organizations around that do offer those. All right. Is that what you're looking for? I give some examples here.
Okay.
That's Coasty right there. There's this one, settlement.org, there's Coasty. Coasty is actually the very first go-to for a lot of immigrants. Okay, especially if you're non-English speaking country. Anyway, they do offer a lot of services for immigrants. So settlement, they offer job skills, they offer different trainings. All right.
Okay.
And I did try to go there because but it's not allowing me to go, but this is where it is. And so they do employment services, they do careers. So there are a lot of opportunities that they have for newcomers. Planning Canada helps immigrants prepare for their move. And so that's Coasty.
Okay, thank you. I've gotten that.
Okay. Let me just stop sharing. I'm gonna share it again. I stopped. Any other question? I think there are 2 questions on the chat. Oh. Any other question? Do we have any other question? Or can you share an experience with us? When you came in, was there any experience you had as an immigrant? What was your experience? Maybe some of us can name. What was your experience?
Yeah, I had one bitter experience when I came in.
Mm-hmm.
When I came in as a new immigrant,
Mm-hmm.
I was told that I can't pick a job until I get my work permit. So I have to wait till the work permit came up. And then I started looking for a job. I came from Nigeria and I have a master's degree.
Wow.
So I noticed that most of the places I go to look for job, first thing they will ask me is my status in Canada. And then they will ask me if I have a work permit. Then when I tell them, and then I will, give them my work permits. Now, when I now tell them the certificate I have, they will ask me if I've been to any school in Canada. I will say no. They will not ask me if I have any work experience in Canada. I will say no, I'm just a newcomer. I have not worked here before, but I've been working back there in my country. They will tell me they'll get back to me, and that will end the whole discussion, and I won't hear from them.
Wow.
Because of that, I have to, right now I'm in school. Because all the effort I made to get a job hasn't been fruitful. So I now said, okay, let me leave this Nigerian and try to pick up a course here in Canada.
Yeah.
So right now, that was really a bitter experience for me.
And that was how many years ago?
No, just this year. I came in this year.
Wow. Wow, but that should you should have reported that anyway, because right now there is a law that says that employers should not ask for Canadian experience. There's actually a law now. So that should have been reported. So at times, again, maybe when we come in as immigrants, we should be aware of the laws that are, that are operating in the land. Because
Okay.
I think they did figure out like that if you're an immigrant and you're just coming in, it is unfair for them to ask for Canadian experience when they know that you don't have. Right?
No, I wasn't informed about that.
Many people don't know. Many people don't know that. But right now, there is actually one. And so that's why if an employer would say they don't want to employ a new immigrant, they would no longer say you don't have experience. They won't say it anymore because they know that you can actually take them to court for that.
Okay.
Thank you for sharing that. Any other experience? Any other one? It looks like a lot of us here are not new immigrants. So the PowerPoint was okay. Bridget raised her hand. Please go ahead.
Hello, can you hear me, Bola?
Yes, please.
Okay. One of the fundamental things that I find help people, I'm not an immigrant, by the way, so
Okay.
I don't want to claim to be that. I'm just sharing based on the things you've been talking about. Also, my own experience is that in terms of helping immigrants, because I used to help them quite a lot, is that when you come here as an immigrant, what happens is people are so afraid when they are new, especially if they just come with a work permit. They don't know whether they're going to stay or not stay. But stay or not, the best connection you can try to make is to connect with people who speak your own language, people who have your own cultural background, or at least near to it. Okay, if you don't have somebody here from Uganda, maybe you can find somebody from Kenya or somebody from, something similar. And what that does for the new person is to say, okay, I'm not alone. There are other people here. They will show me where I get my foodstuffs. They will show me this and show me that. And then the person will get an inside scoop of what goes on. But if one arrives here, especially when you have young teenagers, and you leave them out there, you register them in school, and they feel totally out of place, and they want to now change their names to be something that these people can pronounce, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what one needs to do is to reassure oneself of one's own worthiness, if you will. And you do that when you go and find your own and start from there. You will even get people there who help you to do resumes. I used to be, when I was the head of some of the organizations, we do people's resume, we take them on a mobility walk, we do all these things so that they know that their culture is valuable.
Yeah.
And parents, if there are any parents here listening, need to drum it into their kids that they are valuable, their culture is valuable, what they bring is of value, or eventually will be of value. I mean, how many people you must have seen, and a lot of people here must have seen, people that come here with a degree from their home country. They are lawyers, they are doctors, they are all kinds of, and they come here, they're driving a cab. Okay, but once you know you can do something like that to survive, while you seek to validate your certificate, while you seek to upgrade yourself, then you're not going to lose yourself in the morass of wanting to be somebody you are not. Do you get what I'm,
Yeah.
So that's one of the it's just a way of comment and insight into not only my experience, but the experience of other people that I have helped that have gone far. Even people that were born here that are Black, that are born here. Some of them are so out of the system, if you will, that when I was doing the works I was doing, they would drop them in my office and say, this one is out of school. We don't want them anymore. And I'll have to negotiate with principals and vice principals and so on to make sure that kid finishes school. And they do. And they get some. These are usually very bright kids. The kids that go that way are very bright. They, out of sheer frustration, they go and do things that they wouldn't otherwise do. Anyway, I rest my case. I don't want to take up your time.
Yeah, thank you very much, Bridget. That was a good one. And that would come under connecting to a mentor and also local community. Even Coastie, like I said, Coastie has a lot of programs for immigrants. You can connect with people of your own culture. And so we don't completely lose our identity. And that's why we have a lot of not-for-profits, and they're connecting people to people of the same language. All right. And they'll connect you with people so you don't lose your identity. So you lose your own primary culture. You can always connect to people around you. Okay. And that's a very good one, though. And thank you so much, Bridget, for that. And I know many people. I worked in Catholic Community Service, and I know that at a point we had about 50 medical doctors from Nigeria, and they're waiting to get their certificates done. But in the meantime, they're doing a lot of work with the not-for-profits. Some of them did like program assistant. So there are organizations like that would offer you the very first step to get in.
Yes.
They offer you that first step to get in. We had dentists, we had PhD holders, actually had 2 of them. They're psychologists, and they're working towards their whatever, and they're working as psychotherapists, but they're working towards the certification as psychologists here. So there are a lot of not-for-profit organizations that will give you a footing. They will give you that chance to get into the employment system. And like you said, they help with resumes. They help with developing job skills. They help with ESL. So, and that's why these resources are here. If we can truly connect, because many, many years ago, we didn't have these opportunities as immigrants to connect to these organizations. But now there are so many. And you would
and
find
Why Not
them.
is a great one as well.
Yeah, and that's like I kept saying, Why Not
is a great one because I send people there, and I know that if I don't know, or I'm not up to date, rather, I would say, Why Not is more up to date on those kinds of things. There are brochures, there are phone calls, there are billboards that they can be referred to. So let us not forget that as we go along, because I mentioned
and even
showing up at those community organizations, the nonprofit, showing up there and saying, hey, what can I do? Just clean the floor if there's nothing to do. Throw out the garbage.
Volunteer.
Yeah, just at least they can say, oh yeah, this person is here, he's helping, so how can we help him or her? Yeah.
And that's why the connection is important. Just look for any not-for-profit. Like I said, this is my 4th time saying this. Why Not is the first resource, then others. Okay, so connect. Always connect. Look for not-for-profit to connect. They have a lot of resources for new immigrants, for children, for families. All right, thank you so much. Any other question?
Yes, I have something important, something to to add to what you just said. Thank you so much, Bola. Thank you, Madam Bridget. That's a very good information to newcomers. Another thing is what I personally define as a shortcut. I have met a family here. They are the bankers, bank manager in Nigeria. Then he came here. He declared refugee status. He doesn't want to do anything. Here is a spiritual country. I asked to come and pick money. I can get money. So a lot of new immigrants tend to get wrong information. And that wrong information do take them in a, they want to go through the shortcut, and the shortcut tends to be the longest cut along the line. When we look for right information, at the end of the day, I know sometimes it's a little difficult when you just come to meet the right people. Sometimes every information you can work with. But again, I looked at that we have conscience in us. And that conscience, those things people say, do this, do that. I lie there, lie the other side. So people tends to go that easily. And along the line, before you reach to them or before they reach to the community organization to support them, they have made a lot of mess in their case because they don't want to do the right thing or they follow the wrong instructions. So this is very, very important to know immigrants. So sometimes it makes our case longer here because we followed the wrong direction. And in most cases, it's our choice because I've seen a lot here, deliberately, willfully, presumptuously, they don't want to do anything. They don't want to go and look for a job. They don't want to
go to school.
They don't want to go to school. They don't want to volunteer, something like that nature. Either when they come to you, they come for a support letter for what they didn't do. Either give me support letter here, give me support letter there. And these are what they didn't do. So it's imperative that we share that information with new immigrants. So when somebody is giving them advice, sometimes a bed of the same feather flocks together, then tends to get to those people that behave like them or do things like them. And this is something that we'll be mindful of. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. And that's a very good point. Many people don't want the shortcuts. People prefer the shortcuts. I just want to get this done. I don't want to go to school. I don't want to start looking for anything that would delay me. I just want to get right into it. And there's always a process. If you are new in a country, there's always a process. And like you said, some people get very wrong information when they get in. And some, when they even have the right information, they don't want to follow through with it. All right.
It's not tipping you off. I know a lady they are still at Wilson Road at the Plaza Hotel there where they have new immigrants. So, and it's already there, but he has bought Maroni, come and sent home to the husband in Nigeria. And he's still at settlement center there. So he already bought a car and, sending home, and he giving wrong impression of where this place is. And somebody who was telling me, I've been here for over 10 years. I haven't been able to send a car home because I've been trying to survive, doing the right thing. But, these are some of the impressions we give, wrong impressions. And at the end of the day, we tend to deceive a lot of people. And we tend to, I know you thought about people hanging in the street. But a matter of the truth about this is most of them are students. They got visa, they come here with a student visa. And then somebody, as soon as they come here, somebody advised them, you can declare refugee status. And then they already told the officials that they have this, they have that, and they have such amount in their account to be able to pay for their tuition fee. But when they come, they threw it away and declare refugee status. And then there are so many other stories that are coming up. If you look at what is happening, there are so many other fraudulent of different kinds that is happening within this time. We need to understand exactly what we are doing and also understand that there is system in place to check most of these things we are doing, which we don't, consider to be something. Again, yeah, we have a whole lot of, because we have a whole lot of Black people. But when you look at there are a lot of Indians. The record say 800,000 Indians came to Canada this year. The same thing, the Ukrainians, the same thing, the Afghanistan, but none of them
not on the
were in the
streets.
street. So only us we are in the, are in the street. Why are we in the street? So we need to look into all these things. It's very, very important as people and as a race.
Wow. Thank you very much, sir. And I think we're almost there. So thank you for contributing. It was supposed to be an interactive one. And I think again, like you said, very wrong information we give people. Just come here. Some people would say, just come here and just declare refugee. Just come in. And that's why there was a lot of issues happened that the government didn't respond to the Black community on the street. I remember that I was a part of those who went to meet them in the church that they were in Vaughan. What's the name? There's a Miracle Center. Then some of them went to the Miracle Center, and the government did not pay any attention to them. Wrong information. And like Pastor Francis said, we don't see all these other races. None of them was outside except us. Only our race was outside living that way. So we need to really, really, take a cue on the information we pass across to people also. Give them the right information so that when people are coming in, they're armed with the right information, with the right places to go. Again, like I said, why not to be our very first point of call for any form of immigrant service for both parents and children. And definitely they would even refer us other services too that will help, that they partner with. All right. Thank you very much. Any other question? Any other question? Then I hand over to Why Not.
Thank you so much, Ms. Bola, for that informative session today. For those of you who it's their first time joining us today in our workshop, please put your email down below so we can notify you of many other workshops that we have upcoming. And if you guys do have any other questions, please email us. Where you guys can find that is our website. If you guys have any further questions. Other than that, have a nice evening and bye.
Thank you, Sahida. Thank you. That's a good one. Everybody's leaving. Only Saida left.